Hello and thanks for joining us for the KREM 2 News Weekend Review. I'm Cody Proctor. Each weekend we walk you through the headlines from this past week in the Inland Northwest. Let's get started with one of the biggest news stories of the past few days.
The Community Connection and Disaster Assistance Center is here to help all the different people who had to evacuate during the Upriver Fire this week. Now, there are so many different agencies here to help. Just to name a few, there's the American Red Cross, Spokane County Fire District 9, as well as Spokane County Emergency Management. Now, they are here to answer any questions or address any concerns that people might have, especially those who are unable to get to their house as of right now. A busy room full of resources like incident information, recovery assistance, and county services.
Yeah, so for sure a piece of
100%.
For community members like the Hyatts who have not been able to get to their house since Tuesday.
The feeling of I have to leave was weird. We were all just out of breath, trying to grab what we could.
The Hyatts' house sits in the level 3 evacuation area, meaning they can't go back until further notice. They say this brief stop at the assistance center brought them a calm they haven't felt in the last few days.
So it's nice to have the information, even if it's not exactly everything we need to know, it's at least helpful to talk to somebody and, you know, have the resources available for us.
Yeah, I think that when people are in situations like this, just communication is the only thing we have to hold on to.
Spokane County Fire District 9 Fire Chief Matthew Vinci confirmed 14 homes have been destroyed from the Upriver Fire.
And we're sad about that, but we saved hundreds of homes in that neighborhood.
Fire Chief Vinci says at this point, fire crews have been able to set up a wet line 100 feet in around the entire fire. Spokane County Sheriff John Knowles says this assistance center emphasizes the message that the only way through this sort of tragedy is together.
Certainly there's not going to be anything that we're going to provide people here today that is going to make this not have happened. What we're here to do is to make sure that they have the resources they need to start that recovery process.
And as another day passes for these families not able to return home, the Hyatts had this message from one family affected by this fire to another.
Keep your head up. It's almost over. Hopefully everything's going to come out on the up and up. And we're praying for everybody anyway. So.
The Community Connection and Disaster Assistance Center is located at the Pasadena Park Church of the Nazarene. Now, they do have limited hours until Saturday. We, of course, have all those times listed on our website, krem.com. In Spokane County, Christian Garza, KREM 2 News.
Well, we're getting our first look at the damage left behind from the Beacon Hill fire along Upriver Drive, and you can see exactly what took place. Scorched earth right here behind us. You can still smell that smoke. It's still lingering here in the air, but I want to walk over. I want to show you this really quick because this is one of the drops that those air crews, you can hear some of the air crews right now, that they made trying to contain this fire yesterday. So you can see just this sea of pink, red type of material. That's retardant right there. So it's not necessarily used to extinguish, but it definitely helps these crews stop the process or just make it a little bit easier, contain it as much as they possibly can as those crews are out there trying to contain the fire. In terms of what we've heard from DNR this morning and throughout the early afternoon hours, they did tell us that more than 2,300 structures were evacuated. However, at this particular point, there's an unknown number of how many homes were burned down because of these fires. All we know is that homes were impacted. We're still waiting on how many and those particular numbers. Something else DNR told us is that ground crews, they were able to work overnight and then hopefully getting more air crews active throughout the day. But again, no active growth overnight, which is something they are happy about at this particular point. And then once we get any new details, information about what exactly caused this fire, we'll be sure to keep you updated as well. But you can still see some hot spots and you can still see active crews working to get this all under control. And then one last note. Spokane County Fire District 9 did tell us they don't anticipate these level 3 and level 2 evacuations to drop, at least not for the next 24 hours. Of course, things could change, but they don't anticipate those evacuations are going to drop anytime soon. For now, here in Spokane, I'm Brandon T. Jones.
As we go to break, here's a check of your weekend forecast. Welcome back to the KREM 2 News Weekend Review. It's been a busy week across the inland Northwest, and we want to help catch you up on some stories you might have missed.
Well, this is what the area looks like just one day after the Upriver Fire. As you can see, we're kind of surrounded by that fire retardant. As you can see, it's everywhere here in the neighborhood. It's on some of these boulders right here, as well as the sidewalk, the streets, the homes in the area. But what I really want to show you guys is just the stark difference between where the fire retardant was laid and the charred earth where the fire kind of ripped through the area. As you can see, it is just dark, burnt area, soil and trees and everything like that. And just a few feet away, you can see that fire retardant as well as that dozer line that fire crews worked really hard to put together and maintain, so that way no other homes were lost during the fire last night. Fire retardant and charred earth can be found right in the front line of the Upriver Fire that tore through Spokane County this week, leaving residents like Daniel Tisdale.
I was working, so I knew that I wasn't coming home yesterday at all.
With no option but to evacuate their homes without time to pack.
Is my house going to be there when I come back? Right now, they're going to escort us into the neighborhood so we can go get some medication. We both need to go get our medication.
Spokane County Sheriff's Office say they saw hundreds of people in Tisdale's same situation, forming lines down Argonne Road and Bigelow Gulch Road. Fire officials confirm that 15 homes were either damaged or destroyed by the fire.
Really have to be grateful to know that it was so close, and yet we were spared.
Other neighbors, like Carrie and Tom Hansen,
this is extremely serious,
say they weren't necessarily in the evacuation zone but decided to leave out of caution.
We had our grandkids and we knew Mom and Dad would want them home, and so we were like, we better get them home. But that meant if we left, we could not get back in. We knew that for a fact.
Both Tisdale and the Hansens thanked the quick response from the local fire departments to make sure that the fire didn't spread more.
They were definitely trying to make sure that they were able to put their efforts into taking care of the fire. We could definitely see that.
The cause of the fire is still under investigation, but officials suspect it was human-caused. In Spokane County, Christian Garza, KREM 2 News.
In just a matter of minutes, John Schuler's home was reduced to rubble.
It sounds like a cliche, but it was so fast. You think that you've got time to prepare, yeah.
The place he, his wife, and sons have called home for 7 years, gone. Taken on Tuesday by the fast-moving Upriver Fire that tore through the Northwood neighborhood. This is cell phone video he took the next day.
I think surreal is a good word for it. Doesn't feel real when you're looking at it. We stared at these wires for a long time before realizing, like, oh, that was the piano, but it had fallen through the floor and like stuff like that. It must have got real hot real fast.
On Tuesday, John says he and his son were at home building a deck when his son smelled smoke. Moments later came the alerts to evacuate. Then deputies cruising their street telling people to get out.
It might sound crass. I thought it wouldn't reach our house. I was worried about the lower homes closer to the fire. As we drove away, I stopped and looked back and thought, it's too green, it's not going to burn.
In the scramble to leave, he says he grabbed birth certificates and passports and not much else. He says his family stayed the night with friends. It wasn't until the next day that he learned their house had burned down. It still hasn't fully sunk in.
Kind of forgetting and then have a like, oh, I can't go pick up that thing. I can't just swing by the house and grab that thing that I need right now because it's not there anymore.
Despite the enormous loss, John is thankful they're all safe and thankful for his community. He's a part-time pastor at a local Christian church, and he is leaning on his congregation and his faith to navigate what's next.
I don't know how somebody could go through this process without a deep and like abiding security that comes from faith in Christ. This is going to be a really hard season, a hard situation, but we trust God. He has never let us down before, and he's not going to fail us now.
Thanks for joining KREM 2 News this weekend. I'm Cody Proctor. Right now, we're taking a look back at some of the news stories from the past week.
What if everything we think a healthy forest looks like is wrong?
Green is good.
More trees, more shade, That sounds healthy.
But out here, historically, we did not have this dense of forest stands.
Katie Zander says these forests weren't always this crowded. For centuries, low-intensity fires naturally cleared out brush and smaller trees. But after years of fire suppression, those fuels built up. And in 2017, the Jolly Mountain fire showed us just how dangerous that can be. To fix that, crews start small.
This project here is to kind of emulate fire flow a little bit, trying to reduce that density where fire would come in.
They cut trees that act like kindling, trimming the low limbs that give fire a way up, and clear the brush that moves flames fast. John Goodwin leads a crew that does just that.
Hoskins on the saw right now, and then we have Connor and Angela. They're pulling the sticks, so those are our swampers. It turns that kind of thick forest that you can't see through into kind of more of that park-like landscape.
But this kind of transformation takes money. The Washington Department of Natural Resources says the first phase of this project cost nearly $87,000. The second phase, now underway, up to $110,000. And the work ahead is much bigger. The state estimates between 2 and 3 million acres still need treatment.
All this will go, and it will look night and day.
Less crowded, more space, and fewer opportunities for fire to spread.
We'll do our initial cut with the saw, and then we'll get our pole saw, and then we'll come in and limb them up super high.
The goal isn't to stop wildfires, it's to keep them from exploding.
If fire were rolling through, it would creep right up into those trees, and our goal is to keep them out of the trees.
The idea is simple. Keep fire on the ground and out of the treetops. For Taylor Muscatel and her husband Scott,
get ready to get sweaty.
This work is personal.
2020 was a year for smoke, and breathing that with a newborn baby, we just decided, you know what, there's got to be something we can do to contribute. Our love for the forest and caring about the issue with wildfire in the Pacific Northwest kind of drew us to take that leap, and here we are. This work is important, and it's more important than I think many realize.
Even all of this doesn't guarantee a fire won't come.
Absolutely.
Lieutenant Bo Foster with the Kittitas County Fire District knows that more than most.
It's not if it happens, it's when.
And when it does, he says communities have to be ready.
There's not enough firefighters to protect every home.
One of the most important things you can do to protect your home from a wildfire is create defensible space. They say you should have at least about 30 feet from your home of any trees or vegetation of any kind.
By hardening the homes and using their properties as a potential control line, we're kind of taking care of two birds with one stone and making the home safer and allowing us a spot to stop the fire.
You can't stop fire from coming, but you can give it less to take.
It's not going to stop a fire, but it will definitely slow it down, and it will definitely help a community defend itself.
For Environment Northwest, I'm Bridget Chavez.
The Idaho County Coroner confirmed Larimer County Sergeant Jeremy Coleman and Deputy Ethan Powers died in the crash. The coroner also confirms Nathan McCormick was killed. Coleman was from Berthoud, Powers from Timnath, and McCormick from Loveland. LCSO says Coleman and McCormick were related, and they're mourning the loss of all three. Idaho State Police say the crash happened Tuesday afternoon on Highway 12 near the city of Kuski. That's in western Idaho, about 3 hours north of Boise. Video of the area after the accident shows smoke billowing from the crash. Officers say 60-year-old Neil Brewer from Colorado Springs was trying to pass a semi in a no-passing zone. ISP says she crossed the double lines and hit the three men head-on. They were all on motorcycles and died on impact. Idaho court documents say Brewer may have attempted to leave the scene, but a witness stopped her. People who drive this highway several times a day tell us it's a beautiful road, but dangerous. They say there's a notable blind spot in the milepost where this accident happened. Other than an illegal attempt to pass, we don't know if anything else contributed to the crash. We've asked these questions to Idaho State Police. The Larimer County Sheriff's Office called the loss sudden and tragic. They said there were no good words to describe what happened. In the statement they wrote, quote, "These were incredible people who dedicated their lives to making Larimer County better every single day. They trained hard, they served well, and they loved life." The sheriff's office says they're grieving alongside the families. In Larimer County, Janelle Finch, 9 News.
Thank you for joining us here on KREM 2 News. You're watching the Week in Review, where we bring you some of the biggest news stories of the past week.
Hey everyone, it is National Mascot Day, so we thought it would be fitting to talk about our favorite mascots and bring them in here on the show. Look at this. The whole gang's here.
They really are. And so this is the segment where we do the story. We like to chat about it. So we love to get you guys involved. So let's take a look at this, because the World Cup, that's going on. And there was actually a video of a duck wearing a Team Mexico jersey. It went viral on social media. His name is Merlin. His family says that the attention he has received was a surprise, but they're very pleased that people have embraced him as an unofficial mascot of the World Cup. So what do you guys think? How do you guys rate his mascot abilities? Good?
Good.
We're seeing, there, Ribby is real. Yes, that's right, Ribby. Yeah.
Man, I wish they could read this next story. No, but they can't, right?
Know,
okay,
right?
Starbucks, their barista cups, they're back. And they're also soccer themed for the World Cup. You can see it has a scarf there. This cup is very similar to the one the coffee chain released last fall. You remember it sold out, also went viral. The biggest difference here is that it has a soccer ball hat and then also has that scarf. Bad news though, the US Cup is only available online in to certain reward members. Even worse, it's already being listed for resale for up to $150 for a plastic cup. Really?
That's kind of, okay, yeah.
We need a Ribby cup. How about that?
Right?
Okay, and Ribby, Otto, and Doris, we have some exciting news. Do you guys want to share this with everyone?
Or do you want to whisper in my ear maybe? And
Tell
let me
Jenny.
know?
Oh, yeah, it is. It's back open?
Okay.
Oh,
okay. So
can't wait.
This is huge. So here it is. The main concession stand at Avista Stadium. It's officially reopened. It was closed because of that fire that happened 9 months ago. But this is terrific news. There's still some cosmetic repairs that need to be done to the outside of the concession stand, but it's now fully functioning inside and offers the full menu of ballpark favorites. So fans can't wait to get a hot dog. That's always my go-to thing at a Spokane Indians game.
Spokane
right?
Indians games are the best.
Yes.
So fun. So much going on for the Spokane Indians. Maybe if you're looking for something to do with Dad, take him to a Spokane Indians game this week. Check out that new concession stand.
Yeah.
Keep it here for more news and weather updates throughout the weekend. And don't forget, you can watch our latest newscasts anytime on the KREM 2 app. Just scan the QR code on your screen to watch for free. I'm Cody Proctor. Thanks for watching the KREM 2 News Week in Review.